Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Strege, and here in the room I have actress, writer, producer, and director Sarah Giercksky with me. Is that how I say your name?
It's pronounced Giercksky.
Giercksky. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being able to take the time. I know I had to figure out time zones and all that jazz. So, appreciate you being able to come on. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and where you're from, first of all? Go
Sure.
ahead.
I'm from Stockholm in Sweden,
Okay.
and I've always loved movies since I was a kid, and especially horror films. I saw my first horror film when I was 6 years old. It was John Carpenter's Halloween, and I just immediately fell in love or found some kind of fascination for it. So I just kept on watching horror movies and began writing screenplays when I was 12. So that's how everything got started.
Okay, very cool. Ultimately, your first credited a film was a short film called Anna, correct? You wrote it, but another director directed it.
No, I actually directed it too.
Oh,
It was just a very short, small thing that I threw together in one afternoon because I wanted to film something, and I had my mom, and she has done some acting in some school, and I was like, "Mom, do you want to act in this short film? I just wrote in 2 minutes," and she was like, "Sure," and then I just edited together and just threw it out there.
okay. And did you ultimately put that film out to any kind of festival?
No, because I wasn't really I didn't really know how to put out things back then. I really had no connections in the film industry, and I was just on my own. So I was just, well, I put this on YouTube, and then that's where it stays.
Okay. Well, ultimately, I'll start asking you about some more of your project. But you also run a review site with a partner of yours, correct?
Yes.
Why don't you tell me what that is called and how you got involved with that?
Yeah, it's called Bitches of Horror, and I run it with my best friend Jasmine Martinez, and she was actually the one who came up with it because we were always watching horror films and talking about it. So she was like one day, well, why don't we just talk about the films in front of camera instead? And I was like, okay. And she was like, let's call it like Bitches of Horror or something. I was like, that sounds good. And then we just started, and now it has evolved a little bit, and it's really fun. And we also interview filmmakers, and we try to bring out indie horror and a lot of female horror filmmakers.
Okay, cool. And how long have you guys been reviewing films? By the way.
I think it's been this August. It was 3 years.
Nice. So ultimately, going back to your second project that you were involved with, Man in the Forest. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got involved with that film? And go ahead.
I actually came up with an idea for Man in the Forest, and I had known this guy called Andres Ramos from a film school in Sweden, Kulturama, and we went to film production together. And I was like, well, I have this idea, and I don't know if you want to write it with me and do something. And he was like, yeah, sure. So we wrote it together, and then we were like, well, we have to film this. Let's just make something. So he directed it, and I did some of the SFX and acted in some small scenes. And yeah, that was that. It was more of a hobby thing, really.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And from then on, did you actually do some more projects with this director?
Yeah. He is the one who directed Saryad,
Okay.
my feature film.
Yeah. Which is a film that I started getting to know you a little bit more on, at least afterwards. And how was working on him with that? That was a little bit larger project for you.
Yeah, it was. No, but it was really good. We kind of understood each other, and he understood what I wanted. So, and it was fun working together. I always have fun working with Andres.
Okay. Where was that film filmed, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it was filmed like an hour from Stockholm, like in the woods, where they have summer houses, and yeah, it was a very cozy place.
Cool. Going backwards a little bit, talk to you about a film called Behind My Eyes. How did
Yeah.
you get involved with that particular film?
I was actually in Poland because my mom is from Poland, so we visit my granddad a lot. So I was there and I had a camera with me and I was like, I want to film something in Poland. So I just put something together basically. And I was like, Mom, do you want to act again? She was like, okay, sure. And it was like snowing, so I wanted to incorporate the weather and like the environment where we live in Poland. It's called Katowice, and it's a bit not like ruins, but it has kind of elements after the war. So I wanted to like show what it looked like, and then I just edited it together, and it's also just on YouTube.
Okay, cool. And have you shown that to any festival or anything like that?
No, I haven't. That was also back in the days when I knew nothing.
Okay. Well, there's always time and chances
Yeah,
if you wanted to. um, but ultimately, you went and got involved in after that in a short film called Participants in 2016. How did you get involved with that particular film?
uh, the director of the film, I don't even remember how we got in contact with each other, but I used to do SFX work because my mom, she has a diploma in it, so she taught me, and I was doing a lot of SFX work for different projects, and he asked me to do the SFX for that short film, and I was like, yeah, of course. And he asked Jasmine Martinez to act as the main character.
Okay.
But then one day before, or 2 days before shooting, one of the other actors dropped off in a small part. So he was like, Sarah, do you want to act in the film? And I was like, whoa, I really haven't acted much, but yeah, sure, why not? Why not? So we went there and we had a lot of fun. We filmed this thing in, I don't know, 24 hours or 30 hours, like straight everything. And I did the SFX and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, so that's how that ended up coming together.
Okay. Cool. And do you did you hear about how the film did out in the public at all? Was the film seen at all? Do you know?
Yeah, I was actually at a film festival in another part of Stockholm in Alingsås, and I went there with the director, and the movie was shown there. But he also won an award for it, so it was very cool. But yeah, a lot of people have enjoyed the film, and he has kept making films. So I'm very happy for him.
Very cool. And then ultimately after that, you were in a small part of a film called "Girl in the Snow" Part Two. Um, why don't you tell me a little bit about that short film and how that experience was for you?
Yeah, I was with Xander Turian, who I have done a lot of collaborations with, and we also just decided to film something because I had to film like a small clip for a feature film and send it to England, and he was like, well, we're outside, so we can just film something. And with you running in the forest and being scared, and we'll just call it Girl in the Snow Part Two. So everyone will be like, but where's number one? But there is no number one. So yeah, that's how that came together.
Alrighty. And ultimately, you just as far as I know, that one's also online to be seen, correct?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Okay, cool. And from there, you uh, the following year, you directed the film Mimes and starred in it and wrote it, I believe.
Yes.
And which is another film that kind of showed up as a bonus feature on your Sarsgaard DVD.
Yeah.
Correct. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Mimes and your experience with it?
Yeah. So me and Xander also worked together in this film, and at that time we were in a film group, and we were having meetings every Tuesday. So we had a special kind of format. So we had to come up the first week. We had to come up with who's doing what, and then the next week a script had to be written, and then the following week we had to film it all in 4 hours. Everything, doing the
So,
makeup, acting, everything. So we filmed Mimes in 4 hours, including all the makeup, and it was quite a lot.
so
So
essentially,
that was
kind of
very
a rush,
stressful. It was stressful. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
in a sense, you kind of had a rush on the project.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it was very stressful. It was so rushed. Like I wanted to incorporate more things, but time ran out because we were I remember a kind of theater, and they were like, "We have to close. You have to be out by this hour." And we were like, "Oh, but we have like one more thing," and we literally finished on the minute we were supposed to leave. So it was crazy. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out because it was so stressful.
Were you able to show Mimes anywhere before it got onto the DVD itself? And how was its reception to the public?
Yeah, it was shown in a couple of festivals, not a lot, very few, but overall, people enjoyed it for what it was.
Okay, awesome. Um, and after Mimes, you were in a short film called "Aren't They Adorable?" How did you get involved with that short film? Or
Yeah, it was actually with the same film group that I just talked about. So at that time, there was another one who was supposed to direct and write. So and I was asked to act in her film, and I was happy to do so because I really liked her screenplay and the idea. It's quite fantastic. And then the same thing, 4 hours, and then that's that.
awesome. Was there anyone that in these past short films that you worked with that you would like to express or talk about while you were working with them?
Well, me and Xander have been working a lot together, and we have a very great working relationship. So it's always great doing projects with him. And a lot of people that I've been doing these short films with, I really like working with them. Like the director who did the participants,
Okay.
I just acted in another film of his this summer. So that was very fun, and he always comes up with fun things.
Very cool. So ultimately, you went into a short film called "Our Untold Story: Comedies Don't Make Good Sailors." Why don't you tell me a little bit about that involvement and also as well Uninvited, the short film. Uh,
Yeah.
Tell me about those two experiences.
Yeah, well, our Untold Stories is actually a band. It's Xander's band,
Okay.
and he asked me to be in one of his music videos. "Calm seas don't make good sailors," and we filmed it. My part in like a half a day, and I had a lot of fun, and I really liked the song, so I think it turned out really well.
Okay.
And the Uninvited was actually a school project. So some people from the school, they wanted some actors, and I was like, well, I will apply. It's a horror film, so of course. But at first I didn't get the part. But then a day before the shooting, a girl called me and was like, "Well, our main actress, she can't make it. So will you take the part?" And I was like, "Whoa, I have like a few hours to learn the lines and everything." But of course, sure. So I showed up, and uh, I think it went really well considering everything.
Totally understand. I mean, I've been in the spot where you had to learn some lines when I used to do school plays myself. So
Then
uh,
you know.
yeah, when it's on the spot, it's a little bit more complicated. So,
Yeah.
but in any case, moving on. So, were you an extra in the square?
Yeah, I was an extra. We filmed it at a very big mall called Mall of Scandinavia. It's near where I live, and I was there for I think 5 or 6 hours during the night. So it was a fun experience, and there were so many people, so many extras.
I can
But yeah, at that time I had no idea like how big this film would be. Like I had no idea.
imagine.
Uh, but now I'm like, wow, I was actually in there for a second. And like people saw the film, they're like, Sarah, I saw your red hair. Wow, you're in the square. I'm like, well, like you can barely see me, but okay.
Moving on to Chameleon 10, the short film. Evidently, you were an extra in this short film.
Yeah, that's a bit weird because that's a project that a friend of mine has done, and I think he like I was actually at a job at a time working handing out some flyers or something,
Okay.
and he came up to me like with his crew, and then he was like, "Well, we filmed you. Uh, do you want to be in this film?" I'm like, "Okay, well, okay," and that was that.
Okay.
Like I kind of even didn't know, but I know he does a lot of great projects, so I'm like, yeah, sure.
Okay. And we somewhat talked about as SARS God, but how is it? How has SARS God or Sargod's reception been so far since it's been out?
It has been like surprisingly very good considering like the budget was $3,000 and we had a lot of like technical difficulty and problems. But I mean, I'm really overwhelmed. Like when I first got all the DVDs, like they sold out almost immediately, and lots of festivals have been playing the film, and I won a lot of awards for it. So I'm amazed. Like I had no idea that like anyone would even see this film.
Well,
So,
even though a different director directed it, your name is all over over the film. So, so I'm assuming that you were more of a producer behind this film, which is why
yeah.
you were of a presenter of this film. So, I mean, your name was kind of stamped on this film.
Yeah, it was. It really is.
So, but in any case, another short film that was also on the Sarsgaard DVD was called Rotten Love. How did you get involved with that film? I assume that's with your buddy Xander, correct?
Yes, it is. Actually, at first, I had written the screenplay for Rotten Love for a film competition in Sweden, a screenwriting competition. They were looking for short horror screenplays, so I wrote Rotten Love and I sent it in, but I didn't get selected. And then me and Xander were talking. We're like, we want to do something, want to film something. And I was like, well, I have this screenplay that's ready. Like, and he read it and he was like, yeah, this is perfect. Let's do it. So I just modified it a bit, and then we got the team together, and Jasmine was also involved, and we filmed it. But it was such a crazy shoot, like so many things, just so many problems, and but we ended up pulling through. And I mean, this film, it has got an amazing reception as well, and has gotten so many awards. I can't even count them, and it's been shown on so many festivals, and I'm really happy. Like, I'm so happy.
Very cool. And from what I understand, do you have any news about possibly more plans for Rotten Love at all?
More what?
More plans for
Oh,
Rotten?
Plants for Rotten Love. No, not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Alrighty. Moving on to our untold story, Sexy Blonde. Evidently,
Yeah.
you were in the second music video with Xander's band.
Yes, that's correct. And it was a very fun music video. A lot of dancing. He had hired two professional dancers who did a choreography, and then all of because the song is being played out at a concert. So we're all at concert dancing, and then these two dancers that kind of fall in love and have a cute choreography, and yeah. So, but that was a fun shoot as well,
Okay,
and a really good song. Yeah.
cool. Um, After that, you did a short film called Nat Fajar Illen. Is that how you say it?
Oh, not Fairyland, the sporting girl.
There
Yes.
we go. Yes. And you played a girl named Nadja.
Yeah, this is a film about a girl that is an MMA fighter, but she can't get the money for the trip she needs. So, well, then we follow her road towards getting the money, and she has a kind of problems with her mom and stuff. It's a really good film, and I play an MMA fighter, not the main one, but an MMA fighter in the gym, kind of a rival to the main girl.
Okay.
And that was a very fun experience because I used to be an MMA fighter. I have 6 years of MMA training and BJJ, Muay Thai, grappling, boxing. So I felt right at home at this part, and it was just fun to display my skills.
Okay. Very cool. So ultimately, after that, you were in a short film called Sisterhood, where you played a woman by the name of Maria. Uh,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me a little bit about that project?
Yeah, that was a project because I went to Prague Film School, studied acting. So we did all sorts of projects there, and I was cast as one of the main characters in this film. And it's about two sisters who has uh, not the best relationship, and they're trying to work it out. So we just kind of see a day in the life of these sisters, like how a morning is. So it's very short. Yeah.
Awesome. And where was that film filmed in Prague or
Yeah, in Prague.
okay, cool. Um, Ultimately, after Sisterhood, you went on to a short film called Hit It, and where you played an events promoter.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, it was a film about a drummer who wants to play at a special concert, and there's another drummer who's kind of jealous of him, so he has a rival with him. But I'm the event promoter, so I'm like, well, we have this event, and we have to make everything perfect. So yeah, just hit it. And it was fun. It's not the typical part I would play, but it was fun to be kind of a bossy kind of character for once.
Okay, awesome. Ultimately, after that, you the following year, in 2018, which is this year, um,
Yeah.
you went on into a short film called Slander, and you were the voice of someone. Why don't you tell me about that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a project by my friend in England, John H. Shelton. He's done a lot of amazing work, and he asked me to be the voice for this special character, and I happily accepted because I think it has a strong message, and it deals with kind of a hard subject. So I'm happy to help him.
Awesome. Um, And after that, you were in a project called Azab, which you played a woman by the name of Alice.
Yeah, it's actually a zombie feature film, a Swedish one,
Okay.
and it 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 kind of is an anthology with a lot of short films into one film. But I think the editing is really good because it cuts between these stories, so you don't see the full story at once. It cuts back and forth, and it was really a fun film to be in, because the woman I'm playing against in the scene was actually my younger sister from Sarjad. So it was fun.
Nice. Now, ultimately, some of these are newer, so you can decide what you want to say about
Mhm.
these or not. I know sometimes directors ask you not to
Yeah.
say anything about them, so let me know what you can and can't in these next few, and we'll go from there to your newest project. So, um, ultimately, you were in a project called R248. Why don't you tell me a little bit about, or what you can about your character Malin in there?
Yeah, I play a police officer who is investigating or interrogating a suspect who's suspected of raping someone. So it's a very powerful short film, and it has also won, I think, one or two awards at the Swedish uh, film festival, and it was fun. It was a very fun shoot, intense but fun.
Okay, cool. Uh, After working on that project, you went on to playing in another short film called The Silent God as Aslog.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that project?
Yeah, the director is a good friend, Viking Almqvist, and it's actually a Viking film.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a part of a trilogy, but the films are separate, so they have new stories. And I play a pregnant Viking. Yeah, so it was fun to be in Viking clothes, and I also helped up some of the SFX for the short film. But I had a fun shoot, definitely.
Okay. Very cool. Next after that, you played in a short film called Dashua, or
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Doshua. In Swedish, it's Boysen from Bastuträsk. Bastuträsk is a place in Sweden. I've never heard of it, but yeah, and that's actually also by the same director who did the Viking film,
okay.
and it's a very fun short film, like fun and crazy. And my character is named Chlamydia Connie. So yeah, I haven't actually seen the film yet, but it is ready. But yeah, I can't say so much more. But it was a fun shoot, definitely. I like working with Viking.
Um, the next film, and I don't know what you can. The next two films, I'm just gonna name them. Drömmer om Las Vegas as Tess, and um, the not too recent care nurse Angelica, which you were announced, I believe, to be in not too long ago. So. Why don't you tell me a little bit about these projects and how you
Yeah.
got involved in them?
Yeah, well, Dreaming of Las Vegas is a feature film. And one of my good friends who I met in Prague Film School, but I knew her before Prague, but then she started in the same class as me. She was in this project, and then a girl dropped out, and she actually said to the director that she thinks that I would be great for this part as a stripper. But it was a fun shoot. I went to Gothenburg for 2 days and filmed some stuff. I believe they're still filming, so I don't know when it will be ready. And the second film will Death Care. I really can't say much at all, but I'm really happy to be involved in this project, and I do have a special part. That's all I can say. And I mean, there are so many great actresses in this film, and yeah, I think it will be amazing.
Awesome. And now to talk about your newest production that you are right now have an Indiegogo campaign out there for. Why don't you tell me a little bit about this film? It's a short film, correct?
Yes, it is. It's a short film. It's called Create Your Killer. And it's about these three young people called Adam, Amanda, Isabella, who are at home playing video games on a Saturday night, just hanging out. And then they find this mysterious VHS tape with the game Create Your Killer. And then their whole evening and lives change.
Okay, and you are in fact the director behind this as well. So
I am. I thought to myself, it's time that I direct something again, like for real, without the stress of having just 4 hours and stuff, like for real. Yeah.
okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you can get as that are part of the Indiegogo campaign that maybe the audience can get in on, even though I know it's very easy to click on the link or whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell the audience exactly what you can have in store for you.
Yeah. So you can have your name in the credits, you can get a signed photo, you can get a signed poster, and a link to the film, because the film might be hard to see when it's running its festival course and stuff. So I recommend getting the link. And also we have a hand painted poster made by the talented Simon Pritchard. So very excited to see how that poster will look. And you can also act in one scene, but you have to be in Stockholm for that. So, and also be an executive producer.
Okay, very cool. And have you have you actually chosen who is actually going to be in the film as of yet? Or
Yeah,
that still to
yeah.
be decided?
I will be in the film. Jasmine Martinez will be in the film, and then a guy called Emmanuel Markskog, who I did the film Dushua with, but we didn't have any scenes together. So we didn't meet until the audition, and I was like, well, I know you from somewhere, and I was like, oh, we were in this film together, but we weren't together. But he will fit the part perfectly. And then I am bringing back my mom, who played my mom in Sarjad, for a special part. And then we have a Swedish actor called Mikael Björkman, and he will be playing a very special character. But we're still working on a few more actors.
And how many days do you still have left on the campaign so that we can let the
I believe it's 11 days.
okay? So
And we have flexible funding. So whatever we are able to raise, we will get. So that's good.
ready, awesome. So there you have it, folks. You have 11 days left to get in on the campaign. It definitely sounds like a cool um, uh, um, project, and so definitely get in on it before it's too late. That way you can make uh, Swedish history. In any case, there you have it. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Most definitely. This way, it gets a chance to have people learn a little bit about you as you're starting to get some of your own projects out there.
Yeah.
And this gives you a little bit more broader audience in the States here. So,
Yeah.
in any case, hopefully you have a good afternoon. Appreciate you letting me being able to talk to you, and hopefully people just be able to get in on the campaign and get and help an independent filmmaker such as yourself. So,
Thank you.
in any case, have a good afternoon. And at this point in time, why don't you tell the good folks out there where they can find your stuff? Do you have a website that people can go to find out about what how you're doing, how to find some of your stuff?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page for my production company called Bloody Fierce Productions. And also, if you just type in Create Your Killer, you will find the newest project on Facebook there, and the Indiegogo campaign. Also, you can just Indiegogo/Create Your Killer. And especially with Saria, Rotten Love, and Mimes, I have Facebook pages for all of them. So everything is on there.
Okay, and are there still copies of Sarsgaard still available from you? Actually, if there were,
No, there is not actually,
okay.
but hopefully there will be in the future. But you can actually get a DVD copy from Amazon. It won't be signed, but you can get it from Amazon, and you can see Rotten Love on Amazon Prime.
Very cool, awesome. So, in any case, why don't we say good night to the folks out there, or good
Yeah,
afternoon?
yeah. Good night, good afternoon.
Alrighty, good night, folks. Good afternoon, and this has been an interview with Sarah Giercksky. In any case, stay tuned for more interviews next week. I have some great things planned. Next week, the Inside Movies Galore crew is going on and discussing the film Deathgasm together next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central. So stay tuned for that and some more cool reviews out. Maybe possibly today I'll be able to get some out momentarily. In any case, signing off and have a good afternoon, folks.